Well, hello out there. Hey, I hope you are having a wonderful day and things are looking up. Everything's bright and cheery. It's spring and spring can hang you up the most. So that particular tune was called Unit 7 And I first heard it with Wes Montgomery too. So welcome to our live stream. And remember, this is your live stream because if you don't show up, we won't either. So this is your opportunity to ask questions and to talk and make comments as we go throughout the broadcast. So it makes it more fun for us if you comment, and probably more fun for you as well. So we got a lot of things to cover. And, one of the things I wanted to just mention quickly, a friend of mine who I saw yesterday who's been helping us work on our floor. Wonderful guitarist out in San Luis Obispo, John Stevens. He says, I like your live streams because I can always go back to them, and I can catch them on a replay. A lot of live streams there, once they stream, they're done. But here they live on YouTube, so you can always catch past ones and all that good stuff. So I thought that's probably worth talking about. So, yeah, I'm looking around my room, and it's very hard to find a place to sit down because there's so many guitars, and it's a tiny room, really, I went from a room that was like 16 by 30 to one that's 12 by 14 or something. So, but I've got all these guitars now, and I've been buying them like crazy, as you probably know. And so, time to get rid of them. Some of them. Time to, because I bought them to resell, and then they just kind of sit around, and I don't do it. But now I got to do it. So we're going to, on Saturday, send out an email with the prices on a lot of these things. And I hope you take a look at it if you're in the market for something, and it's a good place to look. I've gotten some guitars in lately that you've never seen. I haven't even had them long enough because people have called me and said, hey, I'm looking for such guitar, and look for one for me. And I've had several students call up and say, hey, things have changed in my life, and I need to get rid of a couple things, and would you be interested in this? And I just can throw them right around to somebody who's looking for it and somebody to enjoy them. So we got Wes working the cameras. What's happening, Wes?
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, we're trying to clear out some space in there because it's ridiculous, that room.
Hey,
I mean, you can't. It's like a regular sized bedroom then there's 50 guitar cases in there. And it's chaos in there for sure.
Well, I've got them all labeled. I know where they're all at.
Yeah, they're labeled, but still, I mean, it's just, you need like a shed or something, or like a...
Well, it's got to be environmentally enclosed.
Well, yeah, have you seen those a tough shed?
Yeah.
And those things are like, you can buy the one that is like essentially like a tiny house. You need a tiny house for
my guitars.
Yeah.
That's a good point there.
Yeah, just buy like an RV.
That's even a better idea.
Right? And then...
An old RV, right? Yeah. Go start it up every once in a while. I don't think so. Anyway, so that's the ticket. So we're going to be covering a few things today, and I've got a nice lesson planned on hexatonic scales that we just re-uploaded to our website. It's one that was kind of forgotten, and I just re-uploaded it, and so that'll be available. Wes, let's go over to the message board, and see who's here. Let's take the trolley. over to the message board. Stephen K. from Olympia, thank you for watching. And Charles, thank you. Jeff from the UK. Wow. Tom, Jim.
I'm surprised you can pronounce that name, Jeff. I thought for sure you would say Geoff.
Geoff. like the
Just because you're so good with names, you know.
Yeah.
That's like one of your strong points is
Well, it's always
names, getting them right.
Well, that's why I named you Wes. You know, we have short names in our family. I wanted to name you Al, A-L. You know, just keep it really simple.
Yeah.
Al. How many two-letter words are there for guys? Al and
Ed.
Yeah. Gail's working the message board. Thank you, honey. And and Jacob, we got Mission Viejo. Roland. And then Mark from East Tennessee. Thought I'd tune in before I go to play a gig this afternoon. Love to hear you play. Everyone knows it's windy. You know, I need a track for that. They use Wes uses the chords that go instead of ho da 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 da. He does something like do da da for the blowing. Anyway, there you go, Mark.
Where are you playing at, Mark? We want to hear about your gig today.
Yeah, East Tennessee. Mark Wilkerson, how you doing there? Nice to hear from you. And you're enjoying that Eagle Classic, I'm sure. Roland. Hi, Roland. What's happening, Stefan? Stefan. What's the rest of those words there? From Lower...
Alterman Westphal.
From where?
Lower Saxony, Germany.
Sweet. Isn't there a song, You Can Call Me Al? Yeah, I guess there is. Yeah, Paul Simon. Been working with Chris Montez again, trying to finish up on his album. We redid a wonderful version of Call Me. I got to play it for you guys. I think it's bitchin'. Anyway, he's got a lot of cool tunes. So we'll do some more of that. So, hey, did you guys see the videos that we just put out? The one with the sitar? That was a cool sound, wasn't it, Wes? Rycooter sitar.
Yeah, it was, I don't know. I guess you could call it cool.
Yeah, you could. And then we did Parker Hastings. We did a little special on him there at the Nashville show, as well as showing Super 400, which was nice. And what was super nice was the 64 ES330. So those were, and that 330 sounds a lot like this. Got a little high fret here I need to fix. But this guitar, I had it strung last week with strings for bending, and then I put jazz strings, flat ones on it. It's got a sweet little sound, doesn't it? So I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to probably offer it up. I want to fix a couple more things on it. But I think it's in beautiful shape. Nice. I'm getting so used to the 11 and 9/16 nut width. I pick up 11/16 and think, wow, this is big. Let alone 3/4. Okay, what else, Wes? Oh, we're going to talk about what we've got coming in and what we're going to sell and stuff. So look at, I just got this Guild X170 in, and we'll show it in a minute. I just got it in, and I haven't worked on it at all, and so I need to do that. We're getting a 610, Eastman 610, which is a mahogany 17-inch guitar. Those are really special, getting that in. I've got the Heritage 335 or 535 there. I've got, and when this Sweet 16 came in, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Sweet 16. You're 16, you're beautiful, and you're mine. Do you want to see Ringo? Wes, would you want to see Ringo? It's coming to Paso Robles.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be fun for sure. I don't know how our tickets are, probably an arm and a leg, right?
No, just an arm.
Yeah, I'd rather keep my arm, I think.
But but it's Ringo, man. I'd rather pay that for Ringo than a lot of other people. But yeah, we're going to be at our camp. We initially had tickets to see him. They canceled it because he ended up getting COVID, so we weren't able to see him. So now we're gonna. Now he's coming back, and shoot, we got to miss him because we'll be at our workshop, which is better anyways. We're gonna have a wonderful time at workshop. I don't know, Gail, are there any rooms left for that? Just curious. Playing a summer gig in Hampton, Tennessee. In the Hamptons in Tennessee. JP, how you doing? Let's see. So anyway, that's what's happening with the guitars. And so I've also got this 910, which is just gorgeous. Now, I'm going to play this in a few minutes. And I guess we're going to let this go. Got an 805, as well as, what was I just looking at? Oh, I got two Chet Atkins. And I got to let go of one. So I got to make some hard decisions here. God damn, I've been avoiding it for a while. Got to make some hard decisions of what to keep, what not. It's a rough life, man. It's tough. It's a tough life.
Yeah, time to get rid of some of this crap for sure.
Crap?
Yeah.
Wrong word.
JP had a question here. He says, how do I know if I need to keep a case humidifier? Semi-hollow body guitars.
Well, depending on where you live, you want it about 40% humidity. So if you're in the Midwest in the summer, you probably don't need it, like Iowa and stuff. It's so humid then, you don't need it. In the winter, when you're running your heaters and stuff like that, it will really dry things out. So it all depends on where you live. Where I lived in Thousand Oaks, they had a pretty... the temperature there was pretty moist there, so you never had to worry about it. When I moved up to the foothills of the Sierras in California, it got very dry there, and so you had to worry about that. Over here where we live, we're on the central coast of California. However, as the crow flies, what would you say, maybe 15 miles or from the
From the
ocean.
beach?
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe
20.
yeah, at the most.
Yeah, so it can get dry here in the winter, or excuse me, in the summer. And in the winter, it's raining a lot, so you don't have to worry about it.
JP, where do you live?
Yeah, that's
Let's hear where you're at. And maybe he could get something more specific.
yeah. So yeah, it depends on where you live and the temperature and humidity. So don't blow it off, because you'll come and one day open up your guitar case and find, oh geez, the top is cracked, or you pick it up and you realize the neck is shrunk because the ends are sticking out, and so you got to fix that. Hi, Eddie Davis. What's happening, man?
Let's see. Al says he never returned as a horse, by the way. Listen to a drummer interviewing Jim Keitner.
Oh, Keltner.
There you go. And
Pronunciation.
He talked about the genius of Ringo.
Yeah.
Ringo always has great players in his band, according to Richard Lippy.
He does. When you go to his concert, man, every song is a hit record by, like Edgar Winter and Steve Lukather, Toto. Good grief. Come on, man. So it's a wonderful concert. So if you get a chance to see him, I'd recommend it.
All right, so last week you had that thing strung to play blues, right?
I did.
And now you have it strung to play jazz.
That's correct, Wes.
So what's the verdict on that? Is it better as a jazz guitar? Is it better as a blues guitar?
I think it's better as a jazz guitar.
And why?
I don't think it's got enough bite for a blues. But it's got a sweet tone for jazz. It's got a little high-end crispy thing going on. What do you think? Let me play a tune. What do you think?
I don't know. It didn't impress me as a blues thing last week. So it sounds pretty good as a jazz
These
guitar.
pickups are pretty weak pickups. I'm surprised. I think you could modify this if you wanted the blues thing and just get a hot pickup and the story. But I love the comfort of it. The access, I mean, here's what I was thinking about the guitar is this would be a perfect one to tune down to like C sharp, and then you can get real big fat sound. And for blues, then you could bend fat strings like crazy.
Sean Monson was wondering what those strings are.
These are the flat wound strings that we sell at guitarcollege.net. I think I have a set in here. The Adorios, but it's a custom blend, 13, 15, 20, 28, 38, 48.
And it's what? Skinny what?
Fat top, skinny bottom. Big top, skinny bottom. Okay.
Wait, isn't it the opposite?
No. No, these are heavy. The top strings are heavy.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So JP said that he lives in Michigan. So not too terribly humid there. Wouldn't imagine. I don't know.
I think it gets pretty humid there. I don't know. 40%. Yep, get a little meter and you want 40%.
He's got a Rickenbacker 360 12 string.
Oh, well.
And that's his concern.
Yeah. Well then, yeah. Humidified. Guitars are weird because the wood likes the humidity. The metal likes the dryness. So you go back and forth on this. So, what do you do? You got to just take it out of the case every once in a while. And if it's too humidified, take it out of the case, get the wipe it off, make sure it's not, it's not getting a layer of moisture all over it. So, I don't know.
Question here from Jim.
Jim,
Are you going to Santa Maria Guitar Show?
yes, Jimbo, we are.
That's this weekend, isn't it?
No, it's next, I think.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Gail, when is it?
I thought it was. Why was I thinking? It was
Not this weekend, no. Let's take a look at some of these other guitars, shall we, Wes?
Yeah. Are you done with that one?
Yeah, if you're interested in this, let me know. Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, it is next week. Yeah. So yeah, go ahead and.
That's cool. I love the way this feels. It's And look at how much how it's yellowed. It's probably been in bars. If this guitar could talk, it would probably have a lot of good stories. So check out, let's see, let's take a look. All right, so now I have two Sweet 16s.
Wow. Oh my God.
Sale tag. This.
Yikes. It's like a slapstick comedy show in here. Like the Three Stooges.
This thing is really nice. Sweet 16. Look at that neck. It's a beautiful axe. It's missing something, though. I can't put my finger on it. That's because it's missing. So it had somebody's name carved in it up there, and
On the pickguard.
well, it's on the truss rod cover.
Oh.
So I had to get rid of that. It's a beautiful finish. It's got a couple little dings in it, not much.
The camera makes it look browner than it is. It's kind of like, well, I guess not.
No,
It looks
Oh yeah, yeah. The camera makes it look a little yellower.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's got this weird, different kind of tint to it.
yeah. It's nice. There now, that camera is more realistic.
Yeah, it's just a little more olive, I think, just
Olive.
than what the camera shows. Not that it's an olive color. It just has a little tinge of this, not so sunbursty. It looks a little different.
Yeah, it's a little. The yellow isn't so bright, and it's. So here, let's play it acoustically because right now it's acoustic.
So wait, you don't have a pick guard for it yet?
Funny you should ask that, Wes. It's right here, you know. And somebody had written on it, brown sugar.
Sweet.
So it's, look at this though. I don't know if Rob Riggs is here, but look at how they mounted this pick. It's a regular humbucker pickup mounted there with two rods going through the side. I think that's pretty cool. Then you could change this pickup maybe if you wanted to. Okay, so you've got a tone control and treble control, and that plugs in. The reason I have it off is because I'm going to get rid of this brown sugar, and it's put on with pearl paint, and it's been lacquered over, so it's going to take some major doing, but maybe I ought to just leave it on. I don't know. What do you think?
I'll tell you right now, there's no way you're getting that thing off and making it look clean.
Well,
It's going to look like there's a big old... What are you going to... You're going to sand it off?
you're going to have to sand off the finish and reshoot the varnish.
Yeah, right.
You're going to have to reshoot it all. Yeah.
There's no... I mean, you ain't doing that yourself.
Oh, yeah.
That's an all-day project.
Well, yeah, so I got nothing better to do.
Can you not buy a new pickguard for that?
Not with this finish. They just don't come. No, it's not that pretty pick guard like that. See how pretty that's going to look? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Ask the viewers. What would you guys do?
Yeah.
The brown sugar. See, Tom's. That said the same thing. I'm like, what a conversation starter that thing is. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is brown sugar. This is my guitar for sure. So yeah,
Well,
what would you guys do? Like I said, I think if you sanded that down, tried to get that looking good, it's going to take you all day. So you're looking at an 8-hour project. And how much is your time worth? And then B, you're going to know it's not going to look great. Yeah, it's going to look like there's like the middle part is different shade or something.
How much do you want to bet that I couldn't make that look good?
I don't know.
Like, you know what? Maybe like, how about your car?
You want my car?
No, I don't. No. You asked what year this is? I don't remember. I'll have to look it up. Let's see.
Here, I could look it up.
Well, look at Wes. It's if you go to the website, it's S. If you go to Kalamazoo, go to heritage.com and date the guitar, date your heritage, and it starts with an S, and I'll tell you what year it is. Probably
I'll tell you right now, it's 2002.
Okay, 2002. All right. So anyway, you like the large white? The brown sugar doesn't look too bad to me. No, it doesn't. It's beautiful, to be honest. You know,
It is cool. It's definitely whoever did that made it.
They did a beautiful job. I have a feeling it was done at the factory, to be honest.
Right.
It wasn't an ad thing. But yeah, maybe I ought to just keep it.
Yeah, see, Al's with me on this. He says I wouldn't touch it. I ruined too many guitars modifying them in the 70s and 80s.
I hear you. I hear that, man. My first experience is my 64 Telecaster. I decided from a white finish to make it natural. So I stripped it off. And of course, I didn't take off the pickups when I did it. And got some paint stripper in the windings and ruined the pickup. Cost $14 to get it fixed. Back in 1965.
Let's see. Lewis Taylor says, if I had the money to purchase it, I would want brown sugar to stay on the pick guard.
Okay. Thank you. Well, this is helpful to me, you guys. So,
William too. I love the brown sugar pick guard. It's sweet. Love that.
Yeah.
It is. It's funny for sure. Yeah.
Because it was done at the factory and it's beautifully done. You know, when you go back to the factory. And the people like shooting the finishes and then scraping the binding, you know. They scrape the binding off. They sit around and do that. It is so artful. You have to be an artist to be able to do that. You just can't be a guy, a regular person. You have to be an artist to do that. So, yeah, okay. So maybe I'll keep the brown sugar. Screw it.
So here's Bill. Bill says that remove the electronics and apply a paint remover, one of the more gentle ones. Then lightly sand and spray new lacquer. That's what you would have done, right? Or would you have just sanded it down, no paint remover?
I probably would have just sanded it down.
It feels almost etched or something in there.
Well, it's shot over. It's not etched. You can feel it.
That's just the paint you're feeling?
No, well, there is paint, but I know it's been shot. There's lacquer on top of the paint.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to that Gibson. The Damien was wondering what that was.
ES 150D. Remember we talked about the 150s and how they've changed over the years. They started off as the Charlie Christian, and then they went to some other thing, which I have, the 17-inch guitar, and then they brought it back as that one, wherever it went, right there.
And then JP said that that Gibson, he doesn't see it as a blues guitar. The throaty tones, body thickness is too good for it not to be a Jazz X.
It's a nice way to put it. Yeah.
So yeah, most people I think are saying that they would just leave the brown sugar. Flavius says maybe get something like a tortoiseshell sticker for that pick guard.
A tortoiseshell? Oh, I see what you're saying, like an overlay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I did that on a guitar. That's not a bad idea. I did it on my L4 CES. When I first got it, it was so pristine. I didn't even want to put pick marks in the pick guard. So I got an overlay of pearl. And so that was kind of the guitar. So that looked pretty, that's not a bad idea. I think that's probably a pretty good idea. Get an overlay.
Yeah.
And just stick it on with...
Because you can always just take that off, right?
Yeah.
You know, that way, if, yeah. I don't know. That's interesting. Interesting.
Tortoise shell. I guess that would look good. I'll have to get some tortoise shell pickups or pickguard. I've got them up in the house so we can see what it would look like with that. Not a bad idea. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was S. Flavius Mercurius. Mark Larkins, though, is back here with a comment. Rich, I like the sound of a flat 5, flat 9 chord on the end of Wine and Roses.
A flat 5 and flat 9. That's nice. I think you want this chord. Or this. I don't think you want the major, the dominant 7 in it. Maybe that. Anyway, so either this one or my other Sweet 16 is going up for sale. I don't need 2 of them.
So, and then also, too, I threw in the description. I don't know if all you guys are on the mailing list for our emails, but that's where you're going to be able to see the sales when it comes out on Saturday.
Right on.
So you need to get on there. So if you want to do that, I just said email you, rich@guitarcollege.com, and put in mailing list on the subject line. That works, right? And then you can add them.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So then you can see the email with the pictures and some details and the prices, more importantly, which you're still figuring out prices, as always. That's like always, I mean, that literally the last, up until the very last second that I complete the email, he's like, well, that's like the last thing, that's the final, as I call and figure out the prices, and he's always like, well, I don't know.
I don't.
So yeah, there's ballpark in there, and then he's, yeah, probably. Jim says that, let's see, a better question might be, would you buy a guitar with Brown Sugar written on it on the pick guard in very large letters? Would you buy that?
Well, obviously I did.
Yeah. Eddie Davis. I have a alto player friend and his wife staying in Paso Robles next Monday through Thursday. I'd like to find out if you, Mike, or Pat are playing out somewhere close. Maybe Charlie Shoemate in Cambria? ? Monday through Thursday next week.
I'm not.
And then Martin here asks, can you play Along Came Betty?
No. I'm sorry, I don't know it. I've played it a few times and read it, but I don't know it off the top of my head. So when we were going to go to Nashville, I was trying to figure out which guitar to bring. I was thinking, God, I wish I had a Guild X170 to bring. Because they're more available. They sound great. I didn't want to take the L5. The Heritages are so expensive now, and I ended up just. So I thought, I wish I had a 170. Now I just got this in. I haven't done a darn thing to it. I think I'm going to take it's got an aftermarket gold bridge, which looks, I don't know, looks like my faucet in the kitchen, or maybe the seat belts of Donald Trump's plane. But there it is. But I think this needs a wooden bridge, to be honest. This pickguard looks in beautiful, pretty damn good condition.
Tailpiece?
Yeah, tailpiece, thank you. The pickup covers have lost their glow, but I don't see too much. I don't see any fret problems. So I think, but I still need to work on the action. It's like you can't get this thing down low enough. So that's another reason why I want to go to a different pickup. What is this thing called? A bridge. Thank you. So.
Yeah, that is probably the most gaudy bridge I've ever seen. That is terrible looking.
But these are sweet sounding guitars, without a doubt.
That does sound good.
Action's a little high. Let me try to play a tune with that.
How about Beyond the Sea?
How about it? What?
That's a request from Al, who said, "You never play Beyond the Sea, and I adore your arrangement."
Oh, thank you, Al. I think I'll wait and I'll play it on this guy over here. This one I'm going to play a little tune called Bebop Deluxe.
Eddie Davis says, "Is there a good jazz club close?" What's that one?
Libretto.
Yeah, Libretto in downtown Paso.
Libretto.
And that's under what? Fish Gaucho? Is that?
Yeah, it's in the basement.
Basement.
Beautiful jazz club. Beautiful.
Yeah, they have stuff going. Do they have live music there every night?
No. It I don't know. I think they might have some on Thursday, but don't quote me. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, Libretto.
Yeah. That was for you, Wes. Anyway, so that was called Bebop Deluxe. So yeah, here's an X170. It doesn't have my strings on it, which is a little heavier top, and the action's a little high. It needs a little work. A couple of fret ends, little funky things going on. Nothing that can't be remedied. And then we're going to offer this up.
I mean, yeah, I literally pulled that thing out of the box an hour ago,
That's true.
hour and a half ago.
You did.
So it actually plays pretty good without any work on it so far, right?
Well, yeah, probably, yeah. I guess it plays pretty
I mean,
good.
better than some things that I've heard you complain about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
So there was another request here for Autumn Leaves.
Okay.
So Beyond the Sea, Autumn Leaves.
You want to go to listen here?
W. Ficelli. I wish Heritage had made the Sweet 16 with a 24 3/4 scale length, like the L4.
You got a point there.
What is it not? It's shorter than that, or what?
No, it's bigger. It's 25 and a half. You got a point there. But then it's like the 575. And what people do is they'll order a 575 with a spruce top. Of course, it's not as ornate and beautiful. But again, I'm using my Vine cable. That sure is a Vine cable you got there.
Tom asked, Rich, how would you describe the tone differences between Heritage and the Guild X170?
Which Heritage?
I don't know. Pick one. Sweet 16.
Well, Sweet 16's got the floating pickup, so it's going to be brighter, I think. It's not going to have those dark tones.
Rusty from London was wondering when the camp was, and how do we apply to go on it if not already sold out? And so I was just looking on here. I'm going to put the link in the chat there, Rusty, but it's June 11th through the 16th. 2 rooms left, though.
There are?
That's what it says on the website, unless the website's wrong. Oh.
Well, that could be, but...
Well, then our message board...
What just happened there?
Oh, that's my...
Wow, what a trip.
Yeah, God. On my screen, it looks so blurry today. I don't know what is going on, but...
Gremlins. So, yeah... you want to come to camp? We'll give you the songs that we're going to work on. You decide which group you're going to be in. And usually each group gets 3 songs, so it's not too terribly hard to get prepared. And then you want to, come to camp, be able to play the melodies and the chords. And then we'll talk about improv and all that good stuff.
So Tom was saying that the how does the X170 compare to the 550?
Oh, that's a good question. 550 is 17-inch, but deeper. This is 17-inch or 16 and a half. 550 is deeper. They sound very similar. This has a shorter net scale length. Makes it maybe a little easier to play. You can snuggle up a little bit more to it. I would say they're pretty close. They're pretty close in similarity. Both are press tops. So they're pretty close. 550 I think is going to be a little darker. That's about it.
JP has an interesting question here. If you want to mix up a solo guitar classic rock set list with some standards, what 5 standards would you recommend?
For a classic guitar, for a classic rock band to play
Yeah,
standards?
so he says, if you want to mix up a solo guitar
Oh, solo.
classic rock set list with some standards.
Well, something like maybe You'd Be So Nice to Come Home To. So you want some standards that are kind of hip too, you know, not, you know, maybe something Ray Charles would do, maybe Georgia.
You would want Summertime in there, right?
Yeah, probably so. Summertime.
Because that just, people recognize that one.
Don't Get Around Much Anymore is one, or Do Nothing Till You Hear From Me. Some of the bluesier kind of standards, what would that be like?
Autumn Leaves.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Hey, Wes, I think this guitar needs to be raised up in volume. You know, that's kind of a neat thing, like on just a little quick little deal here. Say you're playing 2-5 in A minor. Sometimes it's kind of cool to go and then play the 2 chord as a dominant flat 5. Isn't that a cool sound? Yeah, God Bless the Child is a good one that you could put in there. What was I going to do with this guitar?
Play
Moon Dance?
Beyond the Sea.
Oh, yeah. You ever do a tremolo like that? You take your first finger or your second and brush the strings like this.
Nope.
Wow.
Nice. Love it.
Think about it, Wes. Think.
Back to that guild there. Is that original or Fender management?
That's a Westerly original. West Rhode Island.
Got it. Let's see, Joel. I assume these are the original Guild pickups as opposed to the Guild X170 I bought from you recently with the pickups replaced with Gibson humbuckers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, these are the original. You got a sweet guitar there, Joel. Yeah, a guy had modified it with Gibson pickups and
Oh, that's right. I
a
remember
different bridge. It was
Yeah.
really sweet.
Yeah, that was nice.
Matter of fact, I got a Jerry, man. Jerry,
Oh, right.
he goes on and on about that guitar. Oh, man, I wanted that one. We sold it. And so I got him another X170. He's very happy with it.
What's the body length and thickness on the Guild?
The body is 17, the lower about, I don't know how long it is. Thickness is like 2.5 or 2 1/4, something like that. Where's my...
How much stuff is in that drawer? Like,
Just a couple things.
you gotta clean that out sometime. I mean, you look at, just tell from
2 1/4.
from
What?
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 I mean, just judging from the scene behind me right here, you can only imagine how much stuff is in that drawer.
That's true. That's true.
Thank God, one day we're gonna play something in this cassette player for you guys.
You know, we ought to.
Or this patch, the patch bay to nothing.
The patch. Well, I know I gotta sell that stuff. I could buy another guitar with all that.
Right. Let's see. Oh yeah, so there was another request here. Maybe you could get another. What you got? Oh well, actually,
What?
you only have one other guitar to show, right?
Yeah. So anyway, look at this. I was really thinking about keeping, of course, this. This I added a tone control on. So it's got a volume and a tone. Look at that. Look at that. Good God, it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
That is like the nicest Eastman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What,
The request is for, well, there was Autumn Leaves back a while ago, and then now another one has come in from Martin. ELEANOR RIGBY.
okay.
Do you have the West version?
Well, kind of. Hey, what's happening here? Did you turn this off?
No.
Is this loud? It's not. Did we just lose the? I don't think it's amplified, is it?
I mean,
Yeah, it's not.
it was. I don't know what you just did to it.
Yeah, I hope my wiring didn't come apart. Oh, duh.
There you go.
I'm thinking that tone control is the volume control, but it's the opposite. Should I
Right.
play it? Should I play ELEANOR RIGBY on this?
Yeah.
Or on the well, I'll do it on this. Wait a minute. Stop, man. Jeez. I have a version that I did with my band many years ago. That we just did as a track. I don't know. We never recorded it really. And I have another version of ELEANOR Rigby with the fingerstyle course, but I can't seem to remember that. ELEANOR Rigby. Here it comes, Wes.
Awesome. There you go.
Where do they all come from? Hi, Kirby. It's happening from Thousand Oaks, where the sewer meets the sea. Just kidding.
I thought that was Oxnard.
That's Oxnard. That's right. That's Oxnard.
Let's see. Al said that. Okay, my poor eyesight. Darn, is that a fiddleback? I don't know what that is.
I don't know. Fiddles sometimes have that cross cut like this, cross cut.
Oh, I see.
You know,
The matching.
yeah, and it looks like it's three-dimensional. It's so crazy. It's three-dimensional. It's crazy. Did I say that? It's three-dimensional. It's crazy.
That's what's funny too on that guitar is that there's like one spot on the fretboard that like,
Yeah, it's a different color.
or just like the guy who played a lot of notes on that one.
It's not that. It's in the wood.
Really?
Yeah, it's in the wood.
Oh, I see. There's a little line above it too. There's like.
Yeah, it's not a wear thing. It's not a
It
wear.
looks like a little.
You would have to do a lot of notes.
Just on that one
on
little.
this note, yeah.
Let's see.
Let's see. What's left? Oh, the heritage. Shall we look at the heritage? We have to do a lesson, and one of the reasons why I don't play Eastmans for my lessons, for the most part, is because they have no fret markers. So that's been, when I had a couple of them made for me. I had them install fret markers, and that was nice. But then students wanted them, and I ended up, well, maybe I'll get another one, and then it never happened, and
Richard Lippy has a great trick here.
Yeah.
Really, really smart thinking. He says, all my guitars I buy are black. My wife thinks I have a couple, but I really have a dozen or so. That's awesome. Love that.
That's funny. Yeah. Somebody else I met, he said, I bought a whole bunch of real cheap guitars, like $100, $200, and I got them hung up all over the house, and then I slowly replace them with expensive guitars.
Nice. That's pretty good too.
My wife never knows. My wife's a good sport, and plus, you could put your money in the bank, and what do you get? What do you get interest rate?
You lose money.
Yeah, you lose money.
Yeah.
I just say, honey, we're putting the money in the Gibson Bank or the Heritage Bank.
And Sean says he just went ahead and got rid of his wife and kept the guitars.
I won't be doing that. Don't worry, honey. So this is a brand spanking new 535, which Kirby has one of these, don't you, Kirby?
So that has regular strings on it then, right?
Yeah.
Round. I think got some twang.
Yeah, it does. I was going to do a lesson, and what I wanted to do, I want to do a lesson on hexatonic scales. Really, really important. And, sometimes a major scale can kind of sound hokey, and pentatonic scales, you've worn them out. But there's another one, it's called a hexatonic scale. And it sounds like it's from the devil. But quite simply, it's taking any scale and leaving out one note. And when you do that, it has a certain air to it. It's got a different feel and sound to it. So here's like here's a B flat scale, right? Now, when you look at a scale is actually what is called a tetrachord, which is a whole step, another whole step, and then a half step. That's called a tetrachord. And then it starts another tetrachord a whole step apart. So let's go down to G. Then I go a whole step apart. So you notice that this is the end of a G scale. It's also the start of a D scale. Okay, you hear that? But it's a G scale. All right. So when you listen to a tetrachord, this note wants to go here, right? That's wrong. Now, that is right. A C sharp's wrong. And a C makes it sound, it sounds like now I'm, so this leading tone note, and the same thing with the 7 going to the root. Okay? When you've got the 4th degree and the leading tone, that makes a dominant chord, which makes it point towards tonality. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave off the 4th tone. So listen to it against, here's an A chord. It doesn't, it's more of a lick. It doesn't have that. That particular note makes it want to go somewhere else. So if we eliminate it, do you hear it? Hexatonic, that's a major scale. Now, let me show you a little. If you try this fingering, okay, I have a lesson on this, and we just posted it. Here's a couple different fingerings you could do. Yeah, you can work on that. But here's a lick. Let me do it in A, so I can have this chord ring out. I can't transpose. Okay, this guitar has got sustained for days. So anyway, again, hexatonic, major. Now let's do Dorian hexatonic. You get some nice sounds with that. Here's A minor. So I'm going to do a Dorian mode, which is a G scale starting on A. There's the scale. But I'm going to take off the 4th degree. Take off the 4th one. Doesn't that sound cool? Now here's a Dorian hexatonic lick. Oh, sorry. I did it wrong. Sorry. Now here's a D9. So here's a Mixolydian mode. But I'm going to take off the 4th degree of the Mixolydian mode, which would be the note G. Here's a lick. All right, that's enough. So the hexatonic scale is definitely worth exploring, and you're going to find that it's actually a little more usable than a major scale in pop music especially. So think about it. Go get that lesson. We go over it in great detail, and I think I think it'll change your playing. It'll help you a lot.
Sean asked, so can you remove the 4th from any mode?
Sure. It's America, man. You can do anything you want, and you'll get a grant for it. So, yeah. The 4th degree. Now, sometimes some other note might need to be removed, like in the minor one. Okay, removing the 4th. Now, what if I remove that? Remove the 7th. Well, flats the sol. It doesn't sound as good. Yeah, start with just removing the 4th. Basically, it just means a 6-note scale, depending on what you want to remove. But generally speaking, you remove the 4th.
So Roland said, I took a music theory class in high school, learned so much in that one class, we never discussed hexatonic.
Yeah, well, it's probably it's a jazz thing, or it's a way of labeling a sound. That's what music theory is right? Is definition of sound. So, no, it's not your straight up music theory.
And then Micmac said, isn't it more important to learn arpeggios than scales?
No, you want to learn both. You gotta be fluid in both.
He said, the scale is the name of the game, but the arpeggios are the home runs.
Well, if you want to take that thinking out a step further, it's the phrase is king, right? So the scale is the source. The arpeggio actually becomes the source as well. but it's the phrase that uses scales and arpeggios. That's king. It also uses chromatics, and it uses chords, playing over chords that aren't being playing, outlining chords out of the key that create some of these really cool lines. So yeah, it's all of the above, but what is king is the phrase. So again, the scale is the source. The arpeggio is just a piece of the source divided up, right? So you got to know both. And then, but really the phrase, learning licks, learning complete solos, that is what is king.
Yeah. And our jazz guitar improv class is just that, right?
Right. It's talking about phrases and rearranging phrases and where the phrases come from. You know, you take a line like this. Which is a lot. We've talked about that particular line many times in the live stream. And it's over D minor, G7, C. So many elements to that. Okay? Yeah, so. So I have a lesson called Diagramming a Jazz Lick. And that's a real good lesson too on the library. Okay.
But yeah, isn't it kind of hard to find? I mean, how do you find some transcribed solos to learn?
Well, you know, and it's very hard to do, you know, to transcribe if you can find them, somebody's already written them out, and then you learn them, and then you think, so I learned this, now what? Well, now you got to learn how to take those bits and pieces of that solo and use it in some other song, or use it to rearrange your own solo.
Right.
So that's what the JGI course is all about. Rearranging. I've got some crafted solos on there that sound good, and we explain where the notes are coming from, and then your job is to learn it, memorize it, and then I show you how I take it and then rearrange the notes to create another solo, and then you learn that, and that becomes part of your vocabulary, and then you do it. Then you take that and you rearrange it, and then learn a third one. So now it becomes part of your vocabulary.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And that's, yeah, like I said, that's not, I don't know. Yeah, it's just hard to, I would believe, just to find transcribed solos without, you know.
Well, and you know, a lot of solos, they're nice. Certain parts of them are really cool, and then some of them are like, I don't know if it's all that cool. You know, it's all right. You know, it's just rambling on. Certain elements of that solo could be stellar, and then some of them could be just mediocre. So when you find those stellar parts, you know, and then of course it's always good to learn how the soloist maybe, you know, created a lot of intensity here over this chord, but then cooled things down over this chord. And that, generally speaking, over the 5 chord is where all the action is, where all the big notes are, you know, so all the jazz.
Right. Let's see.
So we're done with that lesson, right?
Yeah, we're done for sure.
Okay.
Let's see. Joel Henderson asked, "Do you have an opinion on BB King Lucille Gibson?"
Oh, you know what? A long, long time ago, when my son was in college, and we were up in Chico, and they had one there for $800, and brand spanking new. So what year would have that been? Let's see. Corey graduated college, what, 10 years ago or 20 years ago?
Not 10.
Yeah, 20 years ago.
At least, yeah.
Yeah, let's see. Well, Papa was still here, so crap. Longer than that. So anyway, I wish I would have bought it. Yeah, they're bitching. I like them. This has got sustain, man. And I've got two of these. One still coming.
What is the Lucille? Is it just a
335 without F holes.
Oh, I see.
That's there might be some other difference, but I have no idea what.
Right. Jazzy Jr. says, what's with the blue Zoom guitar pedal on top of the Quilter amp in the back?
I bought that. It's a dual reverb pedal. A stereo reverb pedal, and you can chain all these effects and stuff. Man, it's got pages and pages of stuff, and so I haven't learned how to use it yet. My intention was I wanted to start doing some blues things with 2 amps, and you put it in stereo, and then you get a big fat sound, a big giant fat sound. So I just haven't worked with it yet.
Jazzy Jr. also said, great playing and video, by the way. He just signed up for the mailing list for the sale. So, yeah, that's another reminder. If you guys want to see what the sale prices are and stuff, Saturday we're sending out the email. Send a email to rich@guitarcollege.com and type in mailing list on the subject line. I'm going to type that in the chat right now.
Okay. I noticed somebody said something. Just okay. Improv based on scales suck. Well, you got to know how to manipulate the scale. So, you know, there's a line. All right, this line here. It's at the end of Blues for Alice, but actually for our camp, because some versions are, it really is. When you look at that line, just this little sequence. Remember last week we did the sequence? And the permutations of sequences. You can get very interesting things. So here's a line. Now let's take that and put it on every scale degree. So if I'm in a key of F, listen. Isn't that a pretty line? So that could be your opening for Girl from Ipanema. Okay? I'm just saying, you can use this stuff. Scales don't have to sound like a scale. If anything, you want it to sound like melodic content. So the way to practice that, if I took this line, Wes, you might want to zoom in. So that would be if this is on the 2 chord. Here's the 1 chord. Here's the 3 chord. Right? Here's the that's the 3 chord. Here's the 4 chord. Isn't that a sweet sound? So and then that was the 4 chord, 5 chord, 6 chord, what key am I in? F, I think. The 7th chord. Oh yeah, I've been playing it all wrong. I don't know. And this should have been. Then this should have been. So you get what I'm trying to say. That within a key, a tonal center. If you're playing 2-5-1s or 1-4, or whatever it is, and you're in a key, you don't necessarily have to play a major scale that sounds like a scale, but you use, again, the scale is the source. What you do with that scale is a different story. So. Same with the arpeggio. But in this case, I just wanted to show you, I had a sequence, a tiny little sequence there. And I manipulated it all throughout the neck in the key. And then you can come up with all these cool little lines. Okay, I hope that helped you a little bit.
On the road again, he says, "Hey, Rich, do you ever keep guilds in your collection? Seems like you always move these on and keep heritages."
Well, for one reason, Heritage did sponsor me. I don't know if it's on the website. I don't think they, since they sold. I've taken all that stuff off. So there's kind of, I like heritages a lot, an awful lot. I love them. And so I'm a little bit obligated, And plus, now I'm a dealer. So I do have guilds in my collection. I have a Guild 350 from the 50s, in 1955. I also have I think it's a 1957 X1 or X50. I was going to I've had a couple 700s. I thought, man, I should keep this. But again, and I'm thinking I might get into the heritage stash and maybe I'll get rid of a couple. I don't know. But I like the guilds a lot. Guilds have their own sound, they're quality made. So,
what is the really expensive guild?
the Artist Award.
Yeah, we need to get one of those one day.
Yeah.
So Botched It has a question. How do I fix my low strings not cutting through the band, but the high strings are too loud when I turn up?
Well, you might want to use a compressor, just ever so much of compression or limiting, so you limit the high and then it lets the bottom through. I generally, when I set up a guitar, I generally lower the lower strings so the top goes through. So it could be a tone thing on your amp. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, couldn't you technically like lower the pickup down a little bit or adjust the pickup height?
You could adjust the pickup height, lower or raise the pickup on the bottom, and
Or
on this side.
what about even string gauge, right? If he was
Yeah.
playing jazz, isn't that the idea of your string gauge, is to have a more balanced?
Yeah, but usually it's just the opposite. The low strings cut through more than the high strings. He's saying the opposite, right?
Huh.
So it could be an amplifier issue. I don't know. So I would see if you can do it with the string height and then or the pickup height. And then your settings on your amp. All else fails, maybe a little compression or limiting. The limiter is going to level off the louder notes so the lower notes can come through. On my quilters, I always run with a limiter on about half.
Let's see. Marvin Forte, which I think Marvin has just bought a new Heritage. Because I remember you said something on the very end of the live stream last week, right as we were
really?
ending, and I couldn't get to the comment, but I believe that's true. Is that true? But anyway, he has a question. Rich, do you tend to reach for a lot of chord substitutions when you solo? A minor, D7, G major 7, reaching for C7, E flat major 7, or F7 / A flat major 7 over the G7. I don't know. Maybe you should look at that. That's Marvin.
Marvin, do you tend to reach for a lot of chords? A minor, D7, G, reaching for C minor, E or / E flat, F minor for D7. Well, yeah, you kind of do that. There's diatonic harmony, diatonic substitution. If there's an A minor, and then you look at C major 7, C major 9, you get that sound like, or I think of E minor to A, C. And then when you have the altered chord sound over D7, yeah, then anything goes. If you take a look at the chords within the jazz scale or the D superlocrian, whatever the hell you want to call it, but it's melodic minor, half step higher. Well, there's chords within that. So yeah, all of those are valid. Yeah, so you definitely want to do that, be able to look at a chord and seeing some of the possibilities that you can do over that. If you just look at A minor and think, or look at D7 and go, okay, D7, that it's going to sound very bland. But if you see D7 and then you see E flat minor major 7, then you get this. So then you've got some other possibilities that have that hip sound. And over G7, I don't play major 7 over that. I play minor major 7. And then resolve it. So that's right out of the melodic minor up a half step higher. So I think the key is also, I tell you a hip thing that I like is on a 1 chord is to play to back cycle. So if I have C major 7, you're actually going D7, G7, C. So I'm playing, here's D7, or here's C, D7, G7, back to C. So that way you get that, you're playing over the chords that aren't there, and that's where you get those sweet lines, okay, instead of just C. And especially the C major scale. So you want to try to disguise that scale as best as you can. One way is to play hexatonic. Another way is to now solo over chords that aren't there, which generally back cycling, going back to D7, G7, C over C. So you'll see guys solos that do that. So. If we were to take us, well, we'll do something else. But yeah, hopefully that helped you.
Marvin got a 96 Heritage Super Eagle.
Oh, man.
That's his first, he says.
Oh, good for you. Man, I had a Super Eagle. I have a Kenny Burrell. And, man, I took that to a gig not too long, around Christmas, and the bass player just was raving about the guitar. Man, God, that thing sounds great. And I had a Super Eagle, and that thing sounded fantastic.
Al brought up a good point about the string volume. He said if it is a certain frequency, you might need a parametric EQ. Sometimes those high-end frequencies like pop out so much louder than everything else, you know?
Yeah, you could do that.
Like, remember you had that one guitar that where like the D string was just like, or something like that?
Yeah, well, that was that amp.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
I bought an amplifier. I won't say who, but I thought it was going to be the end all. And it did sound pretty nice, except for the D string for some reason. And it was any guitar. The frequency of the cabinet just made that string go berserk. I don't know what the heck was going on. I mean, you know, in a D, one string has got a lot of frequencies, you know, as you go up the scale. There's a lot of frequencies there. But for some reason, the D string, just, I set the amp back. And the guy said, man, I've never got one back. And I said, man, I hate to do this because I love the other notes, but for some reason, this cabinet is taking that frequency and just amplifying them. It's driving me nuts, and I can't get rid of it.
Steve Metzger says, I tried Rich's trick of putting rubber washers under the pickup rings on my Eastman T49, and it works great to stop the odd vibrating.
Wow. Well, odd vibrating. That's interesting.
Yeah, what do you exactly mean by that, Steve?
Interesting, yeah.
Let's see. Any other? I think that's it for questions. Someone did ask a while back. I didn't ever get to it, but you can probably answer it real quick. It was Leaf Eden.
Leaf, are you from Norway?
Leaf Eden. What guitar amp is your first choice? Hopefully he's still on the stream.
But I like the Quilter line, the whole Quilter line. I use a Mach 2 with an 8-inch. I have 2 of those. I have a Aviator Cub, and I have the Mach 3. I like all of them.
Quilter. So Steve says, now I have to lower the pickups. Is there a limit to how low I can lower them using the screw without breaking?
Lowering the pickup?
Yeah.
Well, you can't go past the pickup ring, that's for sure. I'd be very careful with that. Some of those, if you have a Gibson, the frickin' spring on a Gibson is that long, and they compress the crap out of it, so it doesn't rattle, right, and stuff. But it's a long spring. There's a lot of tension there, and that piece of plastic ain't a whole lot. I take those and I cut them. I don't cut them in half. I cut a little bit off of them, maybe a ½ inch. It's so hard to get them back in. They're crazy. So I just cut those. But and if that all of that fails, and you just be careful. I wouldn't go. You can only go so far. Otherwise, you got to take it apart and take a look. Maybe that's the best thing, is to take the pickup off, look and see how much room you got before you break the pickup ring. And if you do break a pickup ring, you can always get another one.
Joel says, asks Rich, what do you think of Bill Frisell's playing? I think he's just obtuse enough and with a beautiful approach to his melodies that he's different and great. Surfer Girl with his trio is awesome.
Yeah, I like him. I went to see him at Yoshi's once, and the first song they did was a bebop tune. Brian Blade on drums, and who was the bass player? It was a killer band. And Bill Frisell just opened up with a smoking blues tune, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. After that, I kind of did this other stuff, and I kind of slept through it. Yeah, he's a wonderful player, but I wanted to hear more of the bebop stuff. It's just what I wanted to hear. But he's I saw him at Monterey Jazz Festival. What song were they doing? Like Turn, Turn, Turn or something like that, a bird song. And I thought, well, they're just kind of playing the changes. I don't know. I don't know what he was doing, but it was, again, kind of a sleeper for me. But when he wants to, he can burn with the best of them. So, whatever. He's a wonderful, wonderful guy. I've never met him, but I know people who know him, and a great player. So, there's so many good players. Good grief.
Yeah. I think that's it for questions. Yeah.
Is that it? Do you have some news?
Yeah, I mean, I could
do some news.
It's
It's 1 o'clock. It's time for news.
Okay. Let's see. News time is 1 o'clock. Time for the news on the ones here at Guitar College Radio. We told you last week, remember Eddie Van Halen's Hot for Teacher guitar was up for auction at Sotheby's. Well, it sold, and it got a huge price tag. You can see it there. For almost $4 million. So this thing was supposed to get, they had estimated it was going to get about 1.8 million. Blew that out of the water. $3,932,000 for this thing. 3.9 million. This is that Kramer guitar. It was custom made for Eddie. He used it a bunch in the early 80s for touring and in a couple music videos, including Hot for Teacher. And yeah, so again, $3.9 million for this thing. And Eddie actually gave this to his band's drum tech in 1990. The drum tech gave it to his nephew, and then the nephew sold it to Neil's guitar shop in Huntington Beach. And then that shop ended up selling it to whoever owned it and just put it up for auction. So you have to imagine that guitar has risen in value, and the guy who just put it up for auction just is like a lottery winner.
Big time, man. Good
So
grief.
I can imagine him spending more than $1 million for that. So he probably just made $3 million on it. So pretty cool. The $3.9 million price tag makes this Kramer guitar the fourth most expensive guitar ever sold at auction.
What's the first?
The first is Kurt Cobain's Martin D18E. That thing sold. That's the one he used on the infamous MTV Unplugged set. That sold for just over $6 million. The second is Kurt Cobain, also a Kurt Cobain guitar. This is the Fender Mustang here that he used in the Smells Like Teen Spirit video. That one was $4.5 million. Third is David Gilmour, Pink Floyd guy, the black Fender Stratocaster. This is the one that I want to say he used for the solo on Comfortably Numb. Comfortably?
Is that a word?
Comfortably Numb. I can't say that word. Anyway, so this one sold. This one's just under Eddie's. So this one's 3.97. Eddie's is 3.93. So there you go. So he'll be entering the history books with this. By the way, this David Gilmour guitar and this Kurt Cobain Fender Mustang, both owned by Indianapolis Colts owner Jim Irsay. So he owns the Fender Mustang and David Gilmour's. He's got this insane guitar collection, and he just added a couple new guitars to his collection. So he just purchased, this is Jim Irsay, just purchased this 1964 Fender Jazzmaster that was once owned by Jimi Hendrix. This popped up on Reverb a couple years ago, and they were asking $750,000 for it. And then it ended up being sold at an auction last year. This is a Julian's auction for $384,000.
So somebody lost money on that?
Well, I think just no one bought it on Reverb.
Oh, okay.
No one bought it on Reverb, so I think whoever owned it put it on in auction, and it sold at auction for $384,000. There's no word how much Irsay just paid for it, but obviously the guy's been known to spend millions on guitars, so I'm sure the price tag was pretty hefty. This is what Jimi Hendrix played when he was early on in 64 and 65, when he was like a side guy playing with the Isley Brothers and Little Richard.
He also played with the group that did the Peppermint Twist.
Yeah. I don't know who that is.
Joey D and the Starlighters.
Yeah. So anyway, and then Irsay's just got this incredible collection of guitars here.
How to kill mosquitoes.
And his display had been kind of on this tour for a while, and
Oh, wow.
and it just ended in Las Vegas last month. But I don't know if it's going to continue to go. But he's got all kinds of rock and roll memorabilia. This just collection of all kinds of sports music and just cool stuff. So Jim Irsay, and then he also too, along with that Jimi Hendrix guitar, he also bought a 1992 Gibson Hummingbird that Bob Dylan played during the presidential inauguration concerts in 1993. So he's got all these guitars that have some history attached to them, and
Well, that's cool that he's taking them on display and taking them on tour.
right.
I think that's pretty cool. I'd go see that.
Oh heck yeah, I would in a second for sure. Because his collection is said to be the best in the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
Plus, he owns the Colts.
Right.
What does he own? A Beatle drum set? The real Beatle?
I'm sure of it.
Holy
For sure. Yeah. Ringo it says fun fact. Ringo picked this Ludwig drum set from a display at Ivor Arbiter's Drum City. That same day, Arbiter designed the Beatles' iconic drop T in just a few minutes on the back of the cigarette carton. Oh, how interesting. Huh. Arbiter then paid local sign maker Eddie Stokes to paint it on the drum head. Now it's a cherished part of TJIC.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, could only imagine that his display is. He'd spend hours in there, I'm sure.
No kidding. Good grief.
Because on top of that, he's got all kinds of sports crap too. Muhammad Ali stuff. Just the best of the best when it comes to collectibles. So
Yeah.
but hey, that's what happens when you are rich.
See, that's
you can
why I
buy
should-
all kinds of stuff that you don't really need, but that's just cool.
See,
You just buy it just because it's cool.
You see that? See why I shouldn't sell any guitars? Because when I become famous, then you guys, and I die, you guys can and Rich used this on one of his live streams.
Right? Yeah.
You guys can cash this. You have an auction. You'll probably get it like $35.
All right. Exactly.
So
Lose money on it.
I was at Chris Montez's house one time, and Chris was on tour with the Beatles in 1963. The Beatles were the opening act, the opening act for Chris Montez and Tommy Rowe. So Chris says, "Hey, Rich, you want to see the guitar that I had when I was on tour, the Beatles?" I said, "Yeah, it's a 1962 Stratocaster, and it's beautiful shape." I asked his son, "What do you think this is worth?" He said, $450. I said, "You better call me if anything happens to your dad."
Call me when something happens. How old is his son? And has his son
He's
completely
like
lost?
35 or something.
Has his son completely lost his mind?
Well, if you're not in tune with that stuff, you don't know. Who knows?
How could you not be in tune with that stuff, being that guy's son?
I don't know.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Anyway, yes, that's news for today. Oh yeah. Also, unrelated news here for baseball fans. Oakland A's have looks like they have finalized their move to Las Vegas in a $1 million stadium deal. So
the Oakland A's.
So say goodbye to Oakland A's. Say hello to
the Raiders.
Vegas A's. Yeah.
Weren't the Raiders Oakland Raiders? Or?
Yeah. They moved to Vegas too.
So Oakland is all essentially moving to Vegas.
Yeah, and they're pissed, man.
Who's pissed?
Oakland, because they were fighting to have them stay, but I don't know. Oakland
sucks.
Their stadium is terrible. Their stadium, the big news this last week has been how there's a possum living in the visiting radio booth. So any team that comes and brings their radio crew to do a radio broadcast, like on the away games, you know what I mean? They can't do it in that radio booth because the possum was living in there. And God knows why they couldn't remove this possum, but it had been living in there for weeks. And so the radio people would have to go do their broadcast in a different room.
Huh, wow.
That is...
that's their big news.
That's
okay.
Oakland Coliseum for you. The crappiest stadium in baseball, for sure.
Well,
That's
and
the
then
oldest.
their homeless population can't afford to go to the ball game.
They sure do live right around that ballpark, though.
I know. There's 8,000, what was it, 9,000 homeless there now?
I have no idea, but I don't know.
Whoa. Holy cow. Oh, my. Let me start over. So we're gonna wrap this up in a second. I had Scrapple from the Apple on the list. Here it comes.
Oh my God! Come on, man.
Well, you guys, hey, thank you for joining us. And we're going to wrap it up, and I appreciate you joining us. We'll be back again next week. And bring your questions, anything you want to talk about. Remember, if you don't show, we don't either. So, Wes, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, everyone, for showing up. And again, the mailing list for Saturday to see all our guitars. I just put it in the chat. Just email rich@guitarcollege.com and put mailing list in the subject line, and we're going to send out an email on Saturday with several guitars for sale for spring.
Spring up and buy a guitar.
Perfect thing to spend your tax return on.
What's a tax return?
I'm ready for pizza
Pizza.
with no cheese.
That's like having a milkshake with no milk.
I'm telling you, if you try the pizza with no cheese, you're going to be like, wow, this is actually really good.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Gail.